I mean, the emotion there, like, it's off the charts, and that's what the GAA is. These are our games. There are quintessential Irish Indigenous games, and I fucking love them. And when you see a team who have gone through so much hurt, like Mayo down through the years, finally get over the line and finally get this elusive All-Ireland, you can see the outpouring of emotion from all the fans, young and old, male and female, fucking cats and dogs. The fucking fish in the sea were jumping out with delight for Mayo. So there's no big deal that you stayed on and clapped them afterwards, Kerry, all right? So stop going on about it, all right?
Hello and welcome to Conversations with Cornelius. I'm a comedian. This podcast is about my life, my wife, my likes and dislikes, hurling, football, movies, sex, drugs and rock and roll without the sex, drugs and rock and roll. There are going to be special guests and always regular contributors, but mostly it's going to be me and my main squeeze, the wife. So sit back, relax and enjoy Conversations with Cornelius.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Cornelius. I am your host, Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan, and I am in the Fearless Digital Network studios. It is a beautiful Wednesday afternoon as I record this, and we are fast approaching the August Bank Holiday weekend, which I am excited about because, sure, what's not to be excited about the August Bank Holiday weekend? It is just, I suppose, it's like the height of summer. But you do know once that weekend evaporates that you are slowly moving gently towards the autumn. And I'm excited about the autumn because I'm going on tour in the autumn, you know. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves, first of all, lads. Let's enjoy where we are. Let's enjoy where we're at even, you know. I have some exciting news, actually, lads, right? So, you know, the Fearless Digital Network studio here, right? The guys are absolutely phenomenal, right? They're involved in podcasts, they're involved in movies, and we have a little bit of exciting local news in the film making scene. Reflection Pictures is a local award-winning production company based here in Cork, okay? And they are producing a brand new film by one of County Clare, that's Clare, County Clare, one of their favourite sons, the award-winning writer and director Noel McIlerney. Noel has worked on phenomenal films like The Last Duel, The Banshees of Inisherin, and his last film, Baps and Buns, is currently streaming on the Disney Channel. So you check that out, right? But anyway, that's not what I'm talking about, really. Not the past endeavours. I'm talking about what's coming up. Noel is making his next film, which is called Recapped, and it's a tender sci-fi romance based here in Cork. And the producers are the Fearless Digital Network studios, the same producers that are behind this. So fair play to them. Give them a little bit of a round of applause, actually. Yay! Fantastic. Come on, lads. Now, I have a little synopsis here of the movie. I don't know if you'd be into this, guys. I think I would be anyway. Recapped gives couples a video compilation of their whole relationship. Perfect for birthdays, weddings, anniversaries. But what happens when you break up? It stars Megan MacDonald from Hallow Road and Alex Murphy from The Young Offenders and Saipan, and it's set in a futuristic Cork city. The support, basically, you know, these are local filmmakers, lads, and it's going to be a local crew as well. And they're trying to do some fundraising. So we have a little link in the description to their GoFundMe. Making movies is an expensive business, and you know, you got to support the local artists. I think it's very important to get out there and go to see local art, you know, whether it's a comedy show, whether it's a play, whether it's a musician. And now there is a burgeoning, young, up and coming, hot film vibe in Cork City at the moment. I know loads of people, creatives out there who are making movies, and they're all based in Cork, and the Fearless Digital Network studios are no different. They also want to have a shout out and a thank you to Shane from Camera World on Oliver Plunkett Street in Cork City, who's a big fan of this show. So fair play to you, Shane. You've got good taste, that's what I'll say. He gave them an excellent deal on the equipment. As I said, lads, it's an expensive business making movies. It really and truly is. You know, if you're doing stand-up comedy, you just need a microphone and a stage and some jokes. If you're going to make a movie, you're going to need directors, assistant directors, runners, producers, actors. You know, the list goes on. I don't know how much longer it goes on, but that's 5 of things that are required. So there's definitely 6 or 7 more. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. So anyway, if you want to be sound, get into the link there, throw them a few quid, help them along their way. It's important to support. It's important to support the arts, lads. I genuinely think it is a very important thing to do. And if you have a spare shekel in your pocket, and you're like, you know what, let's get behind these guys, throw it their way, and it will go to a good home. Now, what was I going to talk about there now? Oh yes, this week's podcast is going to be absolutely excellent, and I'll tell you why. It's exciting for a few reasons. The main reason is this week's guest is a first-time guest on the podcast. All right. And he is a GAA correspondent. Now, I could not get him into the studio. He's going to be coming on via phone link. And he's going to be coming on. We have it timed here. I'm going to get a text when to ring him when he's available. Super busy. I'm not even going to give his name. I'm just going to let you linger in anticipation over the next 15 or 20 minutes until that text comes in. And then I'm going to give him a shout. And this is the week to talk to this guy as well, because as you know, the All-Ireland has just finished, the All-Ireland football final between Kerry and Mayo. And unless you've been living up someone's hole for the last couple of days, you will know that Mayo have won the All-Ireland for the first time in 75 years. So for me to get this individual on is a huge coup for the podcast here in the Fearless Digital Network studios. I'm excited beyond belief. I don't know if you can tell that through my tone, but if I'm not, if you can't, you want to get your ears checked out, lads. You want to get the wax taken out of your ears, because I am tingling with anticipation. But before we get on to that, I want to talk to you about a few things. I want to just tell you a little bit about my week, because I have had a very, very interesting week. As the regular listeners to this podcast will know, I started on Monjaro, which I affectionately call the fat jabs, back in April, right? So basically I take an injection once a week into my belly, and that stops me wanting to eat everything that moves on planet Earth, all right? And it has been working remarkably well. The first couple of weeks, I had a few side effects. I found out how to get around these side effects: drink more water, eat more fibre, have some protein. That's basically it. If you adhere to that, then you're going to be fine. The first couple of weeks, I had a lot of bad habits that I had built up in my body and in my mind over the last 25, 30 years of my life. But once I got to grips with it, I was loving it. And slowly but surely, the weight was starting to come off. And I am happy to say I'm nearly down 2 stone now from when I started, okay? Now, it's not all about weight, lads. If you're out there now and you're carrying a few pounds, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Each to their own is what I say. But for me, it was just something that I wanted to try, and my wife wanted to try as well. And we have a few podcasts where we go in depth into it. So go back I'd say go back about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Noel was on the pod, and we were talking about the Monjaro journey, the weight loss journey, if you want to get up to date on that. That's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is, and I touched on it there to start, about the August bank holiday weekend and the summer vibes. You're out there in the summer, you're feeling good about yourself, you're having a few drinks, you're going out, you're feeling, do you know what, I've been working all year, it's time to hang out and have a bit of crack, okay? And I'm not immune to that. I am not immune to that. I like to enjoy myself. And how I have enjoyed myself all through my life, predominantly, is with food. If I want to celebrate something, it'll be with food. If I want to be sad about something, it'll be with food. But the Monjaro has taken all those emotions away from me. And I think it's ultimately a good thing, because the food was having a bit of a chaotic, it had its chaotic hooks into me, and I had no control over it. So I take my injection, my jab, every Friday. That's when I take it into my belly. Noel does it. And it sounds ominous as well. You take your jab. It's just a little prick, it's just a little needle into the belly, and it's all over and done with. And apparently it's going to be in tablet form really, really soon. But right now, that's how myself and Noel administer it, via injection, right? So I take mine on a Friday, Noel takes hers on a Friday. And last Friday, for some reason, I said, I'm all right. I won't take it at all this Friday. I think I'll leave it go. I might take it tomorrow, I said. And the reason I did that, right, is by the last day every week, when you're on day 6, your appetite starts to creep back. Signs come back into your life. So on day 6, which would be Thursday for me, I'd always be feeling a little bit more hungry than I would be on other days. And as I said, I love food. So I love eating food. So last Thursday, I was playing a game of poker. I was playing a poker tournament inside the Macau Casino in Cork. I'll talk about that later on, okay? And it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and a fella beside me ordered some food. There's a gorgeous Chinese restaurant inside in this casino. And I said, fuck it, I wouldn't mind an old fucking bite of food. So I ordered up an old pad thai for myself. Now, lads, I wouldn't recommend having a pad thai at 1 o'clock in the morning normally. But when you're balls deep in a Texas Hold'em, tournament and you're trying to make the final table, you need to keep your energy levels up. Would you agree? I'm sure you would. So I ordered the pad thai and it was fucking delicious. Oh my God. Ate it down anyway and woke up on the Friday morning when I got, by the way, I didn't finish anywhere in the tournament. And I got home at about maybe 2:30. And the next morning anyway, I was like, I decided that, will I take my injection? Will I take my injection? And I said, no, I won't. I'll hold tough again. I'll hold tough for another day. Sorry, this was Friday night now is when I went in for the tournament. I didn't take it on the Friday. And then on the Saturday, I should have taken it. And I didn't take it on the Saturday either. And what did I do on the Saturday? I ate my own fucking body weight, lads. In pizza, chips, burgers, chicken fucking nuggets, potatoes, crisps, Smarties, Moros, Twixes, Snickers, anything. If it was fucking deep fried, I'd have eaten it. And I was like, this is great. I'm back. I can have it all. I can be thin and eat whatever the fuck I want. All right. So that was grand anyway. That was Saturday. And Noelle was kind of looking at me, kind of going, what's the story with this fella here now? Is he falling off the wagon here? But I wasn't going to fall off the wagon. I was always going to take my injection again on the Sunday. Into the Sunday. All right. Get up. I decide to myself, I'm going to have my injection there now, or will I have a big breakfast first of all? Will I just fucking have a big breakfast here before? Do you know what I mean? Because I know I'm not going to be eating. So I had a huge breakfast. I gluttonized myself, lads. I don't know if gluttonized is a word, but I think you know what I'm talking about. I mangled it. I mashed it down and put it into 2 slices of bread and ate it down and then fucking did the same thing all over again. Full Irish fry, on top of another Irish fry. With 4 or 5 cups of tea and loads of toast and buttered. Oh my God, that's another thing as well. The butter. Oh, who is loving buttering their scones and their bread at the moment? I am. Me. I love it. I just we live in a country where butter 12 or 11 months of the year is like a fucking block of ice. But at the moment, it's just beautiful. You just and down into my gullet. I had a scone. I had a full Irish. I had 45 million slices of toast with marmalade and butter and cups of tea. And then at 2 o'clock, I said, I better get back on the wagon. I'm after going rogue. I've gone rogue since Friday. It's Sunday. This can't continue. And I was like, I need to keep the body now in the shape that it's been in. So I had my injection. All right. Everything was going great. Everything was going fine and dandy. Okay. Until Sunday night when I went to sleep. And I woke up with a debilitating pain in my stomach. And I was like, what's wrong with my tummy? It's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit dicky. And I made my way to the toilet and I sat down on the bowl. And for about 3.5 hours, I had the most explosive diarrhea known to man. Every time I got up, I had to sit fucking back down again. It was the most obnoxious burst of shit out my arse that I have ever experienced in my life. And if you're listening to this and you're eating something, I apologize from the bottom of my heart. But I am just telling you what was going on with my hole, right? I got up the next morning anyway, and I was in the absolute horrors. I swear to God, I was like someone had climbed up into my arse, up through my intestines and into my stomach and started beating the shit out of it. I was like, oh my God, I'm after making an awful mistake here. Me and my wife and my kids had to go down to Youghal to visit a friend, a niece of Noelle's who had a new baby. We went down there. lads, I was holding my stomach down there. Like, do you know, there's nothing more embarrassing than having to go for a shit in someone else's house. Do you know what I mean? Like, there is not, like, so I didn't. Like, out of respect to this fantastic woman and her brand new baby, I kept the shits inside me, right? And then we were coming home and I took the wrong road. I took the wrong fucking road home. And I was supposed to come home in an hour, but it was an hour and 15 minutes. Those 15 minutes mightn't sound like a lot to you, but when you've got explosive diarrhea, trying to come out instead of staying in, that's a long time. And then my 2 kids were pucking the head off each other at the back. And Noelle was in great form. And was just chatting away to me, fucking as if nothing was going on. And then because you know, when someone's being nice to you, like you're trying to be nice back, but you really just are like, anyway, it was horrendous, lads. Absolutely horrendous. So basically, what I'm trying to say to you out there, if you're thinking of starting Monjaro or any of these fat jabs, just stick to the plan, like. Don't go rogue. Don't go fucking rogue. Like me, you know? Shits on the Monday, on the Tuesday, late night toilet breaks, and like even last night, right? Even last night, I could feel the wobble in the belly, right? And to try and take my mind off it, I got up. I went to bed early actually with Noelle last night. I went to bed around 11 o'clock. That's early for me. And I lay in the bed, and the minute I lay in the bed, this gurgling noise came from my stomach, and Noelle was like, and this is the other thing. Then she's getting great enjoyment out of this. She's loving the fact that I can't control my bowels, you know? Like, oh, fucking hell. And she was making jokes then as my stomach was gurgling beside her. So I had to get up and go down to the jacks again. And I was up and down all last night again. And yeah, sure, look, I think I'm okay today. And you know what? Before I came to this podcast, I went to Ger O'Brien, the tapping guy, who's going to be on next week's podcast, actually. A phenomenal man. And he's a healer, right? And he said, is there anything you want healing? He said that to me, right? And in my head, I was like, you know, could you fucking sort out my diarrhea? Do you know? But he was more interested in past life trauma and stuff like that. But like, you know, maybe I should have said the diarrhea because that is current life trauma. But yeah, so that's what's going on with my internal organs at the moment, guys. I don't know if you're interested in that. I mentioned poker there. I have started playing poker again there in the last few months. And this is an interesting thought experiment that I'm having with myself. So since I've been on Monjaro, all desire to drink alcohol has evaporated out of me. I used to love my few pints, love going to the pub and having a few pints. I wouldn't be the most, believe it or not, chatty person when I'm in a bar unless I'm with a close friend. But I love to sit up, put my pint in front of me, sip it away and listen to whatever guff is going on left or right of me and maybe chime in with some nonsense. That's something that I like to do. But since I've been on the Monjaro, I have no desire for alcohol. And I think that's a good thing ultimately. Like, it's a healthier choice, obviously, for a man of my age. Drinking less is a good thing. The last time I was on the sauce was back on the 10th of May when Cork played Kerry in the Munster final. And I was down with a load of my friends. But since then, I haven't really been drinking, right? So, you know, connection for men is a weird thing, you know? Like, women are brilliant, are absolutely brilliant at keeping up relationships and keeping connections going and meeting for coffees and texting and ringing and all that kind of jazz. And men, quite frankly, are shit at it. We're absolutely dog shit at it. Now, some of you might go ring in or email me and go, well, my husband is actually wearing on it. Well, fuck, is he? Well, fucking tell him to come over to my house for a chat, so, because I'm lonely. So, what I decided to do, right, is I decided, I used to play poker in a past life. I was a professional poker player in a past life, right? Was I any good? I wasn't great. I was okay. For about 18 months, it was my sole way of making money. But this was before I was married, before I had the 2 smallies, and just had to look after myself, you know? And I loved it. It was exhilarating. It's a fantastic way to live on the edge, and I love the game itself, particularly Texas Hold'em. So I said to Noelle, just a few months back, I said, I think I'm going to start playing poker again midweek. I'm going to go for a game. I do my podcast here on a Wednesday, and then when I finish the podcast, I go into the Cocoa Club and I work on some new material. And then I'm driving home and you're in bed and I'm up till like 2 o'clock, you know, staring at the walls. And there's only so much Netflix you can watch, lads, you know. So I was like, I need to kind of scratch that itch. So I decided to go back playing poker tournaments. And I've been going great. Jeez, I've won 2 tournaments and I've got to final tables and played a bit of cash and just love it. I just love it. I love because there's like, people might think that's all luck. It's not. There is obviously luck in every aspect of any game. You know, there's luck in the All-Ireland final there on Sunday, you know. The ball came off the crossbar and off the post on 2 occasions. Balls were saved on the line. You know, fouls were given that shouldn't be given. Fouls were got away with that should have been fouls. This is all luck, you know. So you make your own luck. And in Hold'em, in Texas Hold'em, there's a degree of luck, but there's an awful degree of skill as well. And there's a lot of study that needs to go into the game. And there's an awful lot more to it than even the 2 cards that you get dealt with, you know. They say it's a game of patience, power, and persistence. And there's another P there now, position. Position is huge in poker. So anyway, I'm back anyway there the last couple of weeks and I've been playing poker and it has given me an outlet in the middle of the week that was missing from when I wasn't going for the pints. Not that I was going for loads of pints, but you know, go for a couple of pints, 3 or 4 pints. That needed to be replaced. So I've been doing that with poker and I have to say, the obsession is back. And I'm leaving the wife and kids there now and I'm going back into it full time. It's the time now for the second plug of the show, lads. So the second plug of the show is very simple. I'm back on tour. I'm starting to tour again, actually, in 2 weeks' time in Shanballymore for their festival. All tickets to all my tour dates are on my website. But I'm going far and wide. I'm going to be in Kenmare, I'm going to be in Dingle, I'm going to be in Tralee, Portlaoise, Adair, Charleville, Loughrea, Galway, Dublin, and I have a load of dates in Cork. They're all on my website, www.corneliuspatrickosullivan.com. The link is in the bio of this podcast. So I'm really, that's the thing with the poker, right? I'm really enjoying that because I know once September comes, I'm going to be just too busy for it. So it has been a welcome thing in my life. It really has. But I'm looking forward now to getting back out on the road. And I'd love if you were going to come to the show. So please come to the show. It's my show that I did in the Opera House Pull Hard. It's the second leg of the tour. It's a show about hurling, parenthood, autism, and expensive babysitters. And I'd love to see you at it in any one of those dates. Check out the website for that. Also, you can support me by signing up to my Patreon. There's a link in the bio for the Patreon as well. I do a weekly episode with my wife every single week on that. And it's a $5. It's less than the price of a pint. And now that I'm not drinking, that's pure profit to me. Like, do you know what I mean? So happy days, Patsy Hayes. Okay. All right. Where are we at now? I've plugged my show. I've plugged the movie. I've talked about the shits. I've talked about poker. So it brings us on to kind of the belly of the podcast, which is the All-Ireland final, which has just taken place last Sunday above in Croke Park between the raging, unbackable favourites County Kerry against the perennial underdogs, haven't won in 75 years, County Mayo. No one gave Mayo a chance, and I have to say, I didn't give them a chance either myself. And I defy anyone to say, I thought Mayo were going to do it. Nobody gave Mayo a chance. Not even the Mayo public gave Mayo a chance. And that's saying something, you know, in a 2-horse race. And I've had a lot of GAA guests on the podcast now this year. And I suppose if you're a regular listener to this podcast, you know that it is a huge part of my life, hurling and football. And I had the pleasure of seeing Mayo in the quarter-final. The displeasure of them beating us. But I had seen them, and I think that's great. That's something that's, you know, I have tangible. So when I was watching the match on Sunday, I was like, oh, I remember this fella here, or I remember that fella there. And they beat us, I think they beat us by 5 points. And we were well in the game for large periods of the game. So I was like, this is it's a little bit of a positivity. It's a positive mark for Cork, you know. We were right in it, and they ended up getting to the final. But everybody and their daughter and son thought that Kerry were going to run away with this on Sunday. And they didn't. And I'll tell you now, did Mayo deserve to win it? Absolutely did they deserve to win it. They were unbelievable for the get-go. Were Kerry unlucky? Well, they only lost by a score. They only lost by a goal in the end, all right? And they almost got an equalising 2-pointer by David Clifford, who I personally think is the greatest footballer I've ever seen in my whole entire life, and possibly the greatest footballer of all time. But there were parts of that Kerry team that I'm not so sure of after Sunday. Surprise, surprise, you know? The two Cliffords are absolutely amazing. But I felt that, do you know what? No, I felt, if I'm being totally honest, right? I felt that, and I'm saying it to the lads here before the podcast started, right? Kerry are known for their Yera. Yera, fucking we haven't the chance. Yera, Christ almighty, what are we going up for? We should fucking hell, we're wasting our time. They have that kind of attitude. They talk themselves down the whole time, right? And it serves them well because they come along then and they fucking blow most teams out of the water, you know? But there was an arrogance, an unusual arrogance, and a cockiness that was all over the county, I felt. And there was a touch of the same vibe of Kerry when they were going for the 5 in a row back in the 80s. Yeah, we just have to go up there now and collect that trophy and come away down and fucking hell above tonight, and Jesus Christ almighty, wouldn't it be great, and fucking hell, we'll drink a few pints and we'll go to another game next year. We'll go to one more game next year. That'll be the All-Ireland final. That was the vibe that I was getting. Now, I was not alone in that vibe. That's a general consensus around the place, that there was an overconfidence. You couldn't back them. The bookies thought the same. All the pundits thought the same. But Mayo had a different plan for the day. And I have to say, it was absolutely amazing. And there is a new game emerging now. This game of Gaelic football is different. This low block defensive attitude of teams that has been so prevalent over the last decade and a half is gone. It's going. It's history. And like everything else on this planet, everything evolves. You have to roll with the punches and move with the times. And Mayo were young and exuberant and full of energy, and they brought the press. They brought the fucking kitchen sink. They brought whatever they bloody had to bring, and they brought it with gusto. From the minute the ball was thrown up, they just attacked relentlessly. And with about 14 minutes gone in the first half, Kerry were up 1-5 to 1 point. And I was thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, they're going to be wiped out here. They're going to be wiped out here. It's going to be the same old fucking racket with Mayo, you know, always the bridesmaid, you know. And like, you know, that was a thing that was being thrown around the place as well before the whole thing was brought out. But like, you know, I was like, fuck's sake no. And like, I mean, I think this Kerry football team are amazing, by the way, now, right? I mean, there's no disrespect to them. I think they're a fantastic football team. But the wind was gone out of their sails on Sunday. And when they were up 1-5 to 1 point, I thought they were just going to roll away with it. Clifford came in and got a goal. David Clifford ended up scoring 1-6 in the game, you know? And that's a phenomenal score for anybody to put up. But it still wasn't enough to dampen Mayo's spirits. What they had was something that I have never seen before, actually, in any team. Because I do think that the game has changed now forever after Sunday. They had this unshakable, determined belief that even though they were down 1-5 to a point after 14 minutes against the reigning All-Ireland champions with the greatest footballer of all time, they continued to play the game the way that they had been managed and set up to, which was pressing, high energy, and kicking at all opportunities. Every single opportunity they kicked for scores. And the 2-pointer was their friend. I don't know the exact stats. I think they got 4 2-pointers in the game, maybe 5. But like, they were relentless. And they completely and utterly did something that Cork don't do at all. They put their money on youth. They had 2 18-year-olds playing, right? I've talked about Kobe on this podcast a good few times, actually. You know, Kieran Carey was on the podcast a few months back. I had a great conversation with him. The Mind guy was on. I had a good conversation with him about him. This guy, Kobe MacDonald, he's just something else. Like, he's just something else. He's like, what is he like? He's like what's the name of that fella there now, fucking in the movies there at the moment? What's the name of that film that the hero? He's like, what is it? What you say? Glenn Powell. Who's that? No, what's the name of the movie that's in the Odyssey movie? Is it Odyssey? Is it Hercules? Is it? Odysseus. He's like that fella anyway. He's fucking unbelievable. There's nothing can stop him. He's up and down. He can kick with his left. He can kick with his right. He's got a brain. He's got athleticism. He's got speed. He's got guile. Oh my God. But he wasn't the only one. They were absolutely sensational. 1-15. And, you know, I watched the match at home with my family, and honestly, it was so emotional, lads. 75 years they have been trying to go up the steps of Croke Park to win the Sam Maguire. Men and women have been born and have died and have not got to see this. And look, you could say, well, sure, that's the same with Leitrim, do you know? That's the same with Longford, do you know? But Mayo have a tradition, and they only play football up there. It's like, when it comes to Gaelic games, it's ladies football and Gaelic football. That's all they play. They play a bit of novice hurling on the side, but it's completely novice. It's all football. And they have been to 11 finals since in the 75 years and lost every single one of those finals, including 2 which went to replays. So the hurt was tangible for these people. And I think the whole country was behind them. I think the whole country was behind them. Kerry people now are trying to get up on the bandwagon, saying, like, sure, we stayed and we clapped them, and fair play, aren't we great? We stayed. Lads, fair play to you for staying. But you're not special. Anybody would have fucking stayed for Mayo. Like, anybody would have stayed for Mayo. Kerry think they're great now because they stayed on. If he fucked off, you'd have do you know what I mean? Like, you'd have been the worst in the world. Anybody would have stayed and clapped on Mayo afterwards. I'm absolutely confident of that. Stop bragging about that, okay? Stop bragging about it, okay? We stayed on anyway. We fucking clapped them, you know? Will you stay on next year if they beat them? I don't think so. The homecomings, I got that text there now. We'll be making that call there now in 2 seconds. Brilliant. The homecomings were brilliant. I'll start with the Kerry homecoming, all right? It was on in Tralee, and there was thousands and thousands of Kerry fans out on the streets to support the team. And you know what, lads? I know what it's like to be on, you know, when we lost the All-Ireland last year, the Hurling All-Ireland Tipperary, and we didn't have a homecoming, and there was a bit of drama about it. And I kind of wish we had, really, to be honest. So fair play to all the fans, all the Kerry fans that came out onto the streets of Tralee, because it's no easy thing to do. It is no easy thing to do when you lose, to come out and applaud your heroes, because they are the league champions. They are the Munster champions. The McGrath Cup, no, Cork won that. They won the Munster final. And they're a generational team. I genuinely think. However, there is one point I'd like to make, right? And I'm not bashing Kerry here now again, right? But like, the bones of that team are off the back of a very famous minor team that won 3 or 4, or if not even 5 All-Irelands. Well, not 5. Jesus, what did they do? They weren't playing when they were 13. But there was they won like 3 or 4 minor All-Irelands, and they're at their peak now. And they've got 2 All-Ireland seniors at this stage, and that's not enough for this group. That is not enough for them, especially down in Kerry. And like, I mean, at the moment now, they'll all be, you know, commiserating Mayo and doing the right thing that every other county would be doing as well. You're not special. But watch the knives come out now over the next couple of weeks and see what happens, because there will be an examination. And I think the way Mayo played on Sunday is going to be the template for every team in Ireland. And that's all about raw energy and youth. Can Kerry sustain that next year? I'd like to say no, they can't, but I'd probably be wrong, because they're awesome footballers. But fair play to the fans for coming out onto the street and supporting their team, even in defeat. I think that is an admirable trait and amazing thing to do. The Mayo homecoming was biblical. It was actually biblical. There was 40,000 people in McHale Park. I'd say the whole county of Mayo are currently still on the piss. There was like, I saw some great tweets going around the place. One fella had a tweet I thought was brilliant. He said, the only fella that'll turn up for work now tomorrow will be Enoch Burke. You know, stuff like that. Just brilliant stuff. Like, you know, the humour was fantastic. And I mean, the emotion there, like, it's off the charts. And that's what the GAA is. These are our games. There are quintessential Irish Indigenous games. And I fucking love them. And when you see a team who have gone through so much hurt, like Mayo down through the years, finally get over the line and finally get this elusive All-Ireland, you can see the outpouring of emotion from all the fans, young and old, male and female, fucking cats and dogs. The fucking fish in the sea were jumping out with delight for Mayo. So there's no big deal that you stayed on and clapped them afterwards, Kerry, all right? So stop going on about it, all right? Okay. I need to make this call now, right? And will I make this call now? Just one other thing before I make the call, right? There's two things I want to talk about. I want to talk about the man of the match, right? And probably the footballer of the year, Ryan O'Donoghue, okay? Played in full forward. He is the template now for the full forward in the modern game, right? He's not a big man, right? Traditionally, you'd want your full forwards, your centre forwards, your centre fields, your centre backs, your full backs, your goalkeepers to be 6 foot plus, 6'2", 6'3". This guy, he's not a huge man, but no, he is stocky and strong, but he's electric and he's fierce and he's got power, and he was a boxer as well. So I only found this out recently. He was a boxer, so he was so aggressive, but he did not stop running for the whole game. He did not stop tackling for the whole game. And on top of all of that, then he chipped in with he definitely got 2 2-pointers, and so he chipped in with his scores as well. Not to mention his assists. He is the archetypal full forward now, and I think that teams all across the island of Ireland, and New York and London, they're going to be trying to emulate the way Mayo have played football, because it has opened it up to a different style now. You don't have to be huge. Obviously now, being a big, strong man is going to be an advantage. But relentless pressing, relentless pressure, non-stop movement, the energy and fitness required for this is off the charts. And Andy Moran, the Mayo manager, I take my hat off to him, because everybody, including myself, before the final said they can't do it for the full game. They won't be able to do it for the full game. Kerry's kicking game is going to wipe them out. Kerry are pure footballers, and this is all true. Like, Kerry are amazing. This is an amazing football team, They won't be able to do it. But Andy Moran refused to listen to any of the outside noise, and he drilled it into their skulls. And every single one of them, men, fought like they wanted it more than they wanted the air to breathe. And that is what is required to win in All-Ireland. It is simply that. The want to fucking get there. Even if it's an 80-20 ball and you're on the 20%, you break your hole to get to that fucking ball. And you might only get there 20% of the time. But if the other guy isn't going 100% of the time, you might get there 30% of the time. And that's maths. Ryan O'Donoghue, Footballer of the Year, has to be Footballer of the Year. Absolutely outstanding. And the last thing I'm going to talk about before we make the phone call is I'm actually going to talk about the Cliffords, the Kerry brothers, Paddy and David. They were absolutely amazing. I felt for them in a way. I know I'm always having a bit of crack now with the Cork and Kerry stuff, right? And it is crack, lads. It is crack. My wife is from Kerry. It's only a football rivalry. I have friends from Kerry. I go on my holidays to Kerry. Kerry's a beautiful part of the world. But when it comes to football, I want them to die. Right? But these two lads, these Clifford lads, they're a study. They're a study. They're the most natural footballers that you're ever going to see. And they very nearly, by themselves, kept Kerry in the game. Paddy is just the most sensational playmaker. He passed the ball there in the second half off the outside of his right boot into his brother, and nobody in the ground saw the pass coming, and except the brother, who ran before it was even kicked. Do you know, that kind of way? They're instinctive, and just to watch the two of them is poetry in motion. I would actually say, if you were a listener to this podcast from Cork and from Kerry, and if you want to go and see a interesting, beautiful game of football this year, played at its absolute peak by the best proponents of the game, go to a Fossa match, because these two boys are brothers in arms and brothers on the field and brothers in reality as well. And they're instinctive. And I have to just take my hat off to them. Like, I don't know what pod he scored. David got 1-6. Like, I mean, score 1-6 and not to even be talked about after the All-Ireland final. No one's even mentioning him, like, you know. It's a feat in itself, you know. But he's probably got to the stage, this man has probably got to the stage that if he doesn't score at least 1-6 or 1-7, you know, like, he's had a bad game. And he's only going to be exalted if he gets, you know, 112 or 214 or something like that, which he's well capable of doing. So, that being said now, it's time to make the phone call, lads, to the GAA correspondent. You've listened on. I can't believe I've rabbited on for as long as I have. But let's give this guy a ring here now. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm absolutely delighted to have one of Ireland's most exciting up-and-coming GAA correspondents. Very first time doing a live interview with my little boy, Harvey John O'Sullivan, 9 years old. Harvey John, you're on the line. How are you?
Good.
Any crack?
Yes.
What's the crack?
I'm just feeling good.
You're just feeling good. Look, Harv, I don't have much time here now. I'm going to get into the hard-hitting questions here of the podcast. I know you're a big GAA fan. Am I right in saying that?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Are you more hurling or football, or is it both?
More Gaelic football, honestly.
Yeah, more Gaelic football. Okay, perfect. Well, that just fits in beautifully so to today. I want to talk to you. I have a few questions to ask you about the All-Ireland final, okay? So first of all,
Okay.
Harvey, right? The All-Ireland final this Sunday past. You watched it with myself. Where did you watch it?
Yes. On the telly.
You watched it on the television, all right? Were you
Yes.
excited about it? What was your thoughts about it?
I thought Kerry were going to win by like 7-8 points, but I think just Kerry did one thing. They didn't give David Clifford enough ball.
Oh, that's a very astute observation. Very astute
Saying
observation.
that from a lad who's from Kerry. Kerry.
You're part Kerry, is it?
Yeah.
What part?
Oh, Waterville.
Waterville. Oh yeah, you're from you're
Remember, your wife's from Waterville.
Oh, do I remember that? All right, yeah, I'd forgotten that. So you think Clifford didn't get enough ball? So tell me.
Yeah.
I would agree with that sentiment. Tell me, what did you like about Mayo on the day?
They're very high in the press. It's like to keep on the counter attack. And the final couple of minutes, they were so eased into pressure. They were so good at when the pressure was on. They just showed that they deserved to win the All Ireland.
Excellent, Harvey. Excellent. Now, an interesting thing about yourself. A few months ago, you started a little love affair with Mayo, and this was gas. Now, this is before Mayo were anyway in the conversation in the country. I'd be bringing you to bed at night time. You'd be putting on your Alexa beside you. And what song would you be putting on?
The green and red of Mayo.
The green and red of Mayo. Do you want to
Mayo.
sing us a little bit of it there? I can
Oh,
hear
the green and red of Mayo. I can see it still.
da, 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 da. I don't know the words at all. Go on.
I tried to put on my best Mayo accents.
Tell me, what do you love about Mayo?
Oh, it's just the culture. Dad, remember, I should be saying Cornelius, remember we were at the match and Kerry fans were the Mayo fans were driving us light.
They were driving us light. That's very interesting.
They were driving the Tyrone fans light. They drove the Cork fans light. They drove even Mayo fans light and Kerry fans.
Yeah. What match was that again?
Oh, sadly, Cork got knocked down that match. Cork v Mayo.
And that was the All-Ireland quarter-final above in Croke Park.
Yeah.
But you know what? You touch on a good point there, right? And I've been talking about it on my podcast here today. Their fans are epic. They're absolutely epic.
They are behemoths. They will show up in any weather to see Mayo play. Like, even if it's a friendly pre-season match. Thus, the stands will be filled of Mayo fans, no matter the weather, anytime.
100%. And that's what true fans are. They go no matter what the story is, rain, shine, first round of the championship, a challenge match. It doesn't matter. They're there to support the team, and that's what is beautiful about them. And 75 years of hurt gone now, Harv.
Yeah, so happy.
So happy for them. I'll let you go. I've one more question now before you go, Harv, right? What were your thoughts on this year on Kobe?
Outstanding. Very young, very skilled. He's going to play well in Aussie rules. He's going to dominate the league. I hope he comes back to Ireland for a couple of years, and he's going to become the face of Aussie rules, and I just know it.
Do you? From
how he played in that All-Ireland final, scoring them 2 points, played outstanding, worked outstanding. He, for his age, everybody thought Mayo aren't going to win it. Kobe McDonald's not going to win the All-Ireland.
Yeah.
What did he do? Set hard, worked, and never gave up. And what did they do?
They won the All-Ireland. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard work pays off, boy. Listen to me. Yeah. It's been absolutely fantastic to talk to you. You better go to bed.
One thing.
Yeah.
I'm not.
You're not? All right, okay.
I'm not.
So you're going to stay up all night, is it?
Hell yeah.
All right, go on. Love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Yeah, love you too.
Guys, you heard it there. The Green and Gold of Mayo, or Green and Gold of Mayo, the Green and Red of Mayo, sung by my own son. A true fan. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's podcast. I really appreciate it. Please continue to like and subscribe. Sign up to the Patreon. Donate to the movie. And support the arts, guys. Support the arts. Love you all. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my train.